Hey guys, it's Kelsey and back with another scrapbooking process video. This is day 11 of Scraptember. So our prompt was to use a selfie. So I have a selfie of me at work here with a little baby squirrel, and then a separate day where I happen to be wearing the same jacket of when I brought Franklin to work the first time. So I just wanted to document the babies at work, and I felt like I really wanted to put these photos on the same page since I'm wearing that same blue jacket. So that was my goal. I really wanted to pull in this kind of neutrally peachy scrap from the first layout I did this month, and I definitely wanted to pull in some of the blue from the collection. There's really not a lot of blue, but there's a couple cut aparts that are blue that I tried to pull in. And the background of all the little woodland creatures I thought was really cute since I'm holding a squirrel in one of the photos. So that's what I wanted the background to be. But it has the gold foiling, so I went ahead and pulled in some Maggie Holmes gold stickers to maybe pull in on this page. So when I first pulled these papers together, because of the size that scrap already was, I really liked how it looked just tucked to the left of this layout. So I'm going to go ahead and gut a big portion of the background so I can save it for another page since it's going to be covered anyways. I think this pattern is really pretty, but it's really busy for a background. So that's why I decided to cover most of it up with this more neutral paper so you can still appreciate it, but it's not going to detract or distract from anything else that I'm doing. I really like this deer blue cut apart at the top there, and I'm just layering it with a little freckled fawn chipboard piece I had left over from another kit this month or this year. So I'm going to try to get those used up. I'm really liking so far this month. It's been difficult embellishing because of the weird mix of stuff that I have to use, but I'm really excited about what I have that I'm trying to get used up. But I've noticed already I've been pulling a lot from my stash from stuff that I haven't used in a really long time. So those Dear Lizzie, or not Dear Lizzie, but those Maggie Holmes gold stickers have been in my stash for a long time. So I'm really happy I got to pull them in on this one, even though it wasn't part of the original kit. I'm really just happy this month to use whatever's been sitting in my stash for a while, on top of some of the fun new goodies I introduced in the beginning of the month. And then with having this cluster at the top with the blue, I wanted to pull some blue in elsewhere, but I didn't want to cut into one of the few blue 12 by 12s just for a little accent. But it had a branding strip on it, so I went ahead and cut the branding strip off of the blue paper, and I'm using that instead of having to actually cut into the 12 by 12 just to give a little bit of a pop of blue along the bottom of the page to balance out the cluster at the top. And then I pulled in another one of those blue acetate feathers. I think those are so cool. So I'm creating a little cluster to the right with that. So I'm trying to just balance my blue on this layout before I get too far ahead. But yeah, I think the torn paper I really like, again, for the same reasons I tore paper on the first layout I made. But it really helps with the branding strip, being able to tear it, because I can kind of get away with getting around that hole punch that's in the hole reinforcer, or the, not hole reinforcer, but the branding strip hole. So I got that down, and now I'm trying to figure out how to balance the gold, because I want gold in this other cluster as well. And I actually decided to use kind of the excess packaging part of the sticker sheet. There was a gold peaked circle that I had already used, but I still had the outside part of the sticker, so I decided to use that to get some gold and get that same kind of design down there with the feather, and I really like that. So I'm going to go ahead and commit and stick this feather down. I know I want to add more down there, but I think this is a nice little base for that cluster. And now I need to start working on the photos. I wasn't sure if I was going to mat them separately and stagger them like I did on my first layout this month, or if I wanted to stick them side by side like this and mat them together. But I kind of got stuck for a second, so I decided to look at what else I could pull in. But since I'm using the Maggie Holmes gold stickers, that's gold foiling, I really didn't want to use my gold glitter alpha, because I don't normally like mixing gold foil and gold glitter. But I have these wood grain alphas that I got from, I think it was Freckled Fawn. I decided to use those for my title instead, since this is a more neutrally toned layout. So I decided to title it Babies at Work. But I don't know quite where I'm going to place it, so I decided to keep going with my layers. I did decide to mat these photos together, so I'm just going to stick them together and get them matted on just a plain sheet of white. And then I'll keep working and kind of go from there. But I like how it is so far, so I'm just trying to make the page feel finished without distracting from what I already have. So, okay, got that trimmed up. I'm pretty sure I matted that crooked, so I tried to fix it a little bit, and I think that looks okay. So now I'm going to try to, I feel like I just need one more cluster. I have this other blue cut apart that says, oh, here's a Franklin cameo. Okay, Franklin's going to be on the video for the next little bit. He was free roaming and made his way up to my scrap room, so I didn't want to roll over him with my chair, so I decided to put him on the desk with me, and he, of course, wanted to be the center of attention, so he's going to sit on my layout for a little bit while I try to figure this other stuff out. But I decided just to trim the top portion off from that cut apart and make it into a tag, since I didn't need the sentiment that was at the top of that. And then I decided to cut one of the little journaling spots from that piece and trim it into a little like banner thing. So that's what I decided to do. Again, I'm going to thread that with golden white twine. And then I'm going to tuck this little piece. I'm going to fussy cut the design, and that's going to be tucked under the feather in the lower right hand corner just for an extra layer, and I really like that. So I like that Franklin's on a page that's has him in it. But yeah, that's kind of what I decided. I like this diagonal line of embellishment. I felt like I needed one more cluster, and I felt like in the middle of the page, just halfway between both of the other clusters, looked really well. So I'm trying to just figure out how to do this. I really wanted to use one of these little tabs, but I ended up going with a doily and a glassine bag instead, and then I decided to put my title up there, which I think looks really nice. So this little squirrel I only had for one night. Someone had brought it in because it was in the middle of the road. Normally we recommend baby animals, you leave them in as safe a place as you can find, as close to where you found them as possible, because their chance of survival is much higher if their mom could find them again. When they're this young, it's really difficult to rehab them. But I decided to try to give the little guy a chance, so I had him for one night, just long enough so I could bring him to a wildlife rehab center. And I don't know what happened to him after that, but I'm choosing to think that he was fine, because that's all my heart can take right now. But it was nice having the little guy for a night. And I actually remember this was one of the nights where we were doing a scrapbook Zoom call, and I remember I had to warn the ladies as I was scrapping, because I had the squirrel like tucked into my shirt to keep it warm, and I had to forewarn them that like, hey, like there's a baby squirrel in my shirt that I might have to like, you might hear him squeaking or me checking on it, and that might look weird, but I do remember that. So that was interesting. Of course, it would be like a night that I had a Zoom, but it was still a lot of fun. And then Franklin just came to work with me because a bunch of my coworkers wanted to meet him, and I needed his doctor to meet him in case I ever needed him to do something for him. And then I also had to like check him for parasites and stuff. So I wanted to document that, but he's in his little wing harness, and he was such a good little boy. One of my coworkers, thankfully she's a reptile girl, so she wasn't too weirded out by it, but Franklin pooped on her, and I felt really bad. But at least out of everybody, it was the person who was comfortable with reptiles that he did it to. So that's pretty much just what the two photos are about. And then I'm gluing down my title. I really like how it's spaced out. I like that neutral tone. But with adding this wood grain title, I felt like I needed to add other wood grain things in to balance it out. I just feel like it would be weird having just the title itself be the only wood grain thing on the page. So I did go back to my stash and pull in some more wood grain stuff to kind of round it out, which I liked. I have some freckled fawn enamel dots that go really well with my kit this month, and I haven't used them yet, unless I use them on a page I did after this that was posted before this. I just keep not using them because I keep finding other things in my stash to use instead. But I like how the wood grain looks. So almost done with my title. I really like how the clusters are looking. Once I kind of get the wood grain accent stuff done, that's pretty much it. So it was a pretty simple design. I really like how it turned out though. And I'm glad, like, I got so much stuff from my stash used up, from like Freckled Fawn and Dear Lizzie and Maggie Holmes, like stuff I would not have expected to use with this collection that I've been able to squeeze in. So I was really happy with that. I decided just to dig out a bunch of hearts because I will put hearts on anything, but especially pages with animals, especially baby animals. So I decided to have a couple by the tag just because I thought it would look nice to have wood grain on either side of that. And then I'm going back in with some more Maggie Holmes word stickers. One says little U and one says XOXO. And then I added another one to the top that says sweet. And then I'm just doing a couple of these wood grain hearts in each of the clusters just to kind of round it out. So that's pretty much it. I'm going to go in and glue them all down. I'm doing a cluster of 3 here in the middle of the page just because it's the bigger cluster. I'm just going to do 2 hearts in the other 2 clusters just because they're smaller. I didn't think it really needed 3. So I'm going to go through and glue all of those down, and then you guys will see the close-ups. But thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure you check out the Scraptember playlist for this month. People are using the Scraptember prompts every day this month, so every day I have a video. I'm trying to make sure I'm playing along with the prompts as well. Final touch is my Heidi Swap Gold Color Shine. I'm just going to sprinkle that on the diagonal. And that's it. So thank you guys so much for watching. I will see you in the next one. Bye.